Welcome to our next recording here of Decision Games War in Europe, the second edition, using the latest third edition rulebook, apparently from June of 2002. We're doing scenario 2, France 1940. Thought I'd start out here real quick with this is the audio book, actually a book that I've been listening to, but this is the audio book I'm listening to as I go back and forth to work. To Lose a Battle, Alistair Horn, came out about 50 years ago, but it seems pretty up-to-date, good reviews, etc. So I just thought I'd put that out. There's probably a number of books out there on France 1940, but this one kept coming up as kind of one of the classics, and it's a good 24 hours of text here. And I'm just at the German invasion through the Ardennes, and it actually reinforces what happened in the game we have here. Where the Germans blow through the Ardennes and the French and the Brits are still stuck with their plan here. And there we got the sickle cut, we call it. So in some sense it's paralleled. Ebenenamo, however you pronounce that, failed, though. That didn't happen in real life. But at this point, both the Netherlands and the Belgium have surrendered. And it's the second week. And a good chunk of the BEF is trapped here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 infantry divisions and an armored brigade. Okay. Now the BEF did have one infantry division here. They had another one over here by the Maginot Line, which we see they're bringing over. And we also see at the beginning of the turn that they got reinforcements, and they landed here. 1 armored and 3 more infantry divisions. But the reason they're way down here instead of up here is because the Germans, in the air turn, if you saw the previous video, see if I can find it. Axis, yeah. They committed these to C-move interdict. And basically 1 to 5 units going to go to a battle group. The 6, one of these air units goes away. So that's effective interdiction. We're not going to run that chance. They're going to land here. And next turn they can use rail movement to get up to the front. So, and the victory conditions are basically in 7 turns, and it's a short game because we did the historical reaction, the German pre-game turn through the Ardennes, and then all these units past a certain point had to move forward, in spite of the fact that the German mechanized forces are driving right through the Ardennes. And listening to that book, that's actually what happened. Gamelin, I think that was the name of the general, was getting lots and lots of reports about German armored forces streaming through the Ardennes, and he just downplayed it and said, we're going with the original plan. And of course, the army group, I think it was a B up here, was doing everything in its power to make it seem like it was the main thrust. And the French fell for it. Big time. Hence, we've got the same situation they did. Here we are in the second week, and the Germans are all the way out here with all these units trapped. So that's where we're at. So if we look at the sequence play, I already did the reinforcement phase, naval movement, all cool stuff, but basically all the BEF forces, the additional ones, are going to end up in Brest to avoid the air interdiction of the channel. And then I went ahead and done the initial move. And you do see up here now where we kind of disengage from the Panzers. This guy started out as supply, so only had 5 movement. So basically that's all he can do. So he's gotten free, and then they'll build a defensive line around him. And you see the French infantry screening on the river. Anybody attacking across here is have. May get through. And then we also see the infantry unit, the BEF infantry division moving here. We got a French armored division and infantry here. And there was this guy coming over from Maginot Line. We'll put him here too. And there's going to be a mech move. And then we're starting to reinforce Paris. And then we're also protecting here. We got a massive infantry coming from the south that we're supposedly anticipating a German main thrust through the Maginot Line. And one of the comments of my viewers said I should put air interdiction here because you've already got Zoc there, so I tweaked that. Yeah, this seems redundant or a waste of air interdiction. But this basically does slow down this infantry horde coming through here. They have to play +2. Okay. And this guy can move fast too, but he sealed us off here. So now they've got a good line here. Whether it holds or not, we'll see. Going to do a little rearranging in the mech move. The Germans, they're powerful, but they're spread out now. And the infantry, it's going to be 2 turns before they can actually start doing attacks across this line. 1 turn to move up, and then the next turn they'll be able to enter Zocs and start attacking. So it's still all the mech forces up here for this battle. And of course, something is starting to develop over here potentially that may pull some of them off. The British and the French aren't just going to sit here. Certain units have enough movement points, even out of supply, to move 1 hex from Zoc to Zoc, which is normally 5 for a clear hex. And that would be, of course, the motorized French infantry brigades and, of course, all the British infantry divisions, even the battle group here. So these guys move here, and they're going to try it. They're going to try and attack here. Their combat factors halved, and they're on CRT number 4, but they're just not going to sit there and wait to be killed by the massive infantry here. And who knows, if they get to this port, which ironically is Dunkirk, they can perhaps evacuate to another port within 4. So they could at least go to Dover and come back the next turn. And this is important that the Germans get these units out of northwest France. Get them out of France. Because the roll for Vichy after Paris falls gets modified by +1 for every 3 British divisions. So it's time to get these guys out of here. We'll see. We'll do the attack. We'll see how it goes. Now this is another key move here. It may seem sacrificial, but what this does is effectively puts this unit out of supply. Supply range is 10 hexes from the nearest fixed railhead, which will be here. 1, 2, 3, but now it can't turn the horn and go this way, so it's got to go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but it can't go here, so it's got to go 9, 10, because this guy also forces the supply this way, and that's too far. 10 hexes, if we looked at the supply rules earlier, from a major supply point, which would be a railhead, that's as far as you can go. So this 8-8 is going to be halved in the defense. So we'll see that when the attack occurs too. Rail movement, yeah, they took advantage of it to get the 3-4 from southern France. They're keeping all the hexes under Zoc with the mountain troops. And so they used it to rail all the way here to Dieppe to anchor the river line here. So that's our setup. I mean, that's the Allied initial move, and they actually do have 1 combat. So let me pause this and see if I've got that saved. All right, I went ahead and calculated the odds and also rolled a die. And they got lucky. They got a 6. So, I mean, if you count the factors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I already took the losses required for out-of-supply units. So it's really 40... And then this is 46, but it's halved. I hope I didn't do this wrong. I think that's 46. Is there more hiding there? No, let's see. Oh, yeah, I did. 46 and 3 is 49. Got this armored unit. Or, yeah, 49. So half of 49 is 24. And this is 4, so we do get a valid 6-1. And they got lucky and they rolled a 6. And we see with a 6, on the worst chart, they get a DR. Yeah, this could have gone south, but what else are they going to do? So they validly got lucky, even with a vassal die roller, which means this guy has to retreat. But if unsupplied units attack, they have to take losses, regardless of the results. The unsupplied attacking units have to take losses equivalent to the printed strength of the unit. So one of the, you see here, I've already reduced one of the British motorized divisions. And of course, where do you think this guy's going to retreat? Well, he doesn't have any choice. He's going to end up in Dunkirk. And these guys will advance. We'll see that in a second when I show the mech move. But the Germans now have an opportunity to shut this down and start eliminating these. So we'll see if this goes any further. So, all right, so let's move on beyond the combat phase and let's look at the mech phase. Not much goes on for the mech phase. Most of the Allied units were already in position. But we do see here the German Panzergrenadier Division retreats into Dunkirk, and basically all the full-strength, full-strength unsupplied British motorized infantry divisions advance into the combat hex. In theory, if nothing happens, yeah, they could attack this. It would be 4-1 this time, unless, of course, they can bring some French in here. But you know, the Germans are going to react, which, yeah, it's kind of like it's not like they can keep pushing this way now. They may have to come back here to deal with this problem here, because the infantry is still not close here. I mean, the infantry is coming up this way, but it doesn't deal with this problem right here. So this may ask, any ideas of swinging around Paris here, kind of like the old Schlieffen plan, actually, probably are not going to happen because they have to deal with the Brits trying to evacuate. So a little rearranging down here just for, I think I moved to 1-6 up here. Got these guys here. I'm going to load Paris up awfully. I'd love to load Paris up with British units, which maybe I can, although that's somewhat unrealistic. But at the very least, load it up with their 6-6 armored units because they do have a step. So they would allow it to last a few turns even with a DE. So we'll see. So the Germans, they have to take Paris, and then they have to roll the die to get Vichy. And to increase the odds of that Vichy roll, they have to get British units out of France, either by destroying them, forcing them to evacuating, and hopefully they don't come back. So that's what we got. We're going to roll now into, that's turn 2. So we're going to roll into week 3 of the battle. And we're going to have the Germans trying to deal with this, and then seeing what they're going to do about getting closer to Paris and getting their infantry up. That's a key one, too. And there's a little bit of supply problems here, too. So we got to get these repair units doing some repairs to get our railheads up forward. So anyway, that's the recording for today. Allied week 2. Some deviations from history, but overall, situation is similar. I mean, the deviations are the Germans went ahead and took Dunkirk. They didn't pause. And the Battle of Eben-Emael was an abject failure for the Germans. So we'll see how that plays out. I'll go ahead and end it here, and see you at the next recording.